dependent on patterns.
I was going to mention that, but I'm untangling here a bit.
Okay. But it is hard to make the switch. It's hard to make the switch. Look at the back, isn't it killer?
So what I'm going to show you today is similar to this here. And what I want you to see is it's not like skydiving without a parachute. It's more like just building a wall step by step. And it's really relaxing. It's really enjoyable because, oh no, the points aren't going to match. No, that's not going to happen because it doesn't matter. Oh no, I cut that one wrong. Well, you could use it later. You just go along and go with it.
Do you typically work with a collection of fabric when you start something like that?
Well, the ones I didn't bring you today are the ones that I start by. I have a bin of fabric and I'm sitting around and I pull stuff out and start sewing it together, and I get a chunk of that and put it away till next week, and then the next week I pull something else out or have leftover blocks from a quilt I made that I'm not going to use, and I just start putting all those together. And those are some of my favorite quilts. They're my favorite to have around. They're my favorite to look at because every time I look at them, I go, oh, that was that quilt I gave to Haley. Oh, that was that quilt I did this other thing with. Oh, that was that baby quilt, you know? And I just use pieces of all those things that help me, you know. I'm not saving a traditional historical design and passing it on, but I've got little bits and pieces of tradition. I've made whole quilts with scraps from clothes I made for my granddaughter and clothes I made for my daughter. So sometimes I work with a collection like I did with that one, but I did add to it with some solids. And the one with the strips, that really wasn't a collection. That was just some random things you go into the fabric store and you say, oh, I just love that fat quarter. But what can you do with one fat quarter? Well, you can do that.
It just seems like for a beginner, it might be easier to start with a collection.
It might be. If that would make you more comfortable. Yeah, if that would make you more comfortable, then you work with a collection and you know that it's going to work. But there's another thing with modern quilting is colors that fight sometimes make the best quilts. Okay, so what I'm going to start with today is I've got this TikTok collection, and I started cutting it up and sewing pieces together, and you can see I've got my log cabin started, but then I threw in some arrowheads, and now I'm going to make some decisions over here about what goes next. So I'm going to start another section. This one is done for now, and I'll start another section, and it will eventually be joined up with it in some manner.
Okay, I'm going to try to move this near so you can talk as you say, if you want.
Okay, you can hold it near.
Okay.
I feel like I'm being interviewed.
This is a job interview.
Oh no!
You get benefits
I've already lost it then. Okay, so I started. I picked out this bird. I wanted to have this whole bird on here, so I cut out the bird, and then I found this piece, and it has two little fish looking at each other, so I put it underneath. And now I'm going to sew on another strip. Just to save time, I pre-cut some to the correct length. So I've got a strip I'm going to add on here now. Let me throw this one aside. And now I'm going to need to get to this. Get this other chair.
I'll probably sit beside you.
There's nothing tricky about the sewing. It's just...
Are you generally using a standard cord to try to
Yes, I normally use the 1/4 inch foot with a little flange, as long as I'm if I'm not doing curves. If I'm doing curves, then I'll use a foot without a flange because it gets in the way of curving.
So you're using a foot with a flange, which I would have called a tack foot. You know how you tie tack in clothing?
Oh,
You remember when we used to
yeah.
do the little tack that you do where your darts? That's how old I am.
You still do darts.
But I could never use that foot for this.
This is a 1/4-inch foot.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got these two sewn together, and I've got this really clever little thread catcher here. Okay. Well, a lot of times when I'm piecing and I'm sewing little pieces like this, I use a seam roller rather than pressing. So I'm just going to roll this down a little bit to flatten it. And so now I've got the first section. So now I'll piece this one on here to fit on top, this little black print.
So at home, you probably wouldn't pre-cut that one.
I would cut it, I would not have cut these pieces at home. I would pick it up and look what I have and then choose. But I did some choosing at home this time. So I'm going to go ahead and sew this one.